Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is part two of an episode that I recorded with Chris Smith. And in the first round, we were talking a lot about AI and the impact that that's going to have on CRM. But that whole episode was nearly an hour long because we can talk. So I decided to split it up into two. And this episode is going to be really just focused on us going through a few CRMs. There's over 10 of them, and we'll be talking about whether we actually like them or not and who they're best for, because not everything is for everybody, and that is okay. Some CRMs are going to work really well for you now and for the next 5 years, and then you might need to evolve and mature, as does everything else in business, and then you can go to something else. So we're having that really core, hard-hitting conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. Please get in touch with both of us in the comments or on LinkedIn, because we're both on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see those links in the comments. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Do let us know if you disagree or if you agree, because I think sometimes with these things, with brands and everything like that, we don't want to actively dog anything, but not everything is for everyone. But it seems like as if some are pushed onto people, and people feel like because they're a big name, that means they should work for everybody, and that isn't the case. So I really hope you enjoy this really core, really human, raw episode, and look forward to seeing what everybody's saying when you get in touch. Thank you. And we're going to we'll make it like a game show. I'm going to read out some CRMs, and we can,
Okay.
I'll ask you what you think about them and who they would be best for in a moment. But
Yep.
again, I want to repeat what you said there and add my little bit to it. Your What's happening inside the company, the back office systems, processes, and tech should reflect what your customer, what the journey that you want them to go through, the journeys that exist. And so often they don't. And that's
Yes.
why it's so difficult and so clunky when
Right.
sales are treated differently from other departments, and everything is will wine and dine to get a signature. And then once we've
Yes.
got that signature, then they're out in the cold.
Yeah,
We
they're
don't actually
disappear. You don't
care.
hear from them again. And the
Yeah.
reason why I want people to understand, the reason why I'm bringing this all up, it directly impacts the CRMs I recommend and the ones I won't, because the ones I won't recommend can't do this. They can't support that end to end. They can't be enterprise level and go through organization and support that seamless transition from sales into customer success and delivery operations, whatever your organization calls it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to start with listing out these CRMs. I'm going to start with one that I use, which it's they white label, which is Go High Level. And so I use another like version of it called FEA Create. And
Yep.
I really like that
Yep.
because it's super basic, super simple, and affordable for a very, very small business, so a solopreneur. But it's got your calendar in there. It's
Yes.
got your social media planning, your email marketing,
Yes.
and it's got your website, so you've got your funnel pages and invoicing and whatever, and a basic but getting better dashboard, because I'm a big
Yes.
fan of dashboards,
Yep.
right? Are you familiar with Go High Level?
I'm not directly familiar with it, but just the way you describe it, I love it for small businesses, people that are
Mm,
just getting started. That's exactly the type of CRM you should be looking for. Okay. You
yeah,
don't need enterprise level automation. You don't need the big the stuff that the Salesforce and the Microsoft Dynamics 365 can deliver. So why buy something you're not going to use, right? And pay all that money. That's a perfect solution for companies just getting started. I love it. That's what I'm like first, like when I coach entrepreneurs and they're saying, hey, should I get someone said I should go get Salesforce? I'm like, absolutely not. You will be so frustrated. You'll be so discouraged. Your CRM will suck. You'll be in that category. Go with that type of a solution because it's an end-to-end functionality that you really need as a small business.
yeah. And I love Salesforce. I'm looking forward to the day when I can get it again for my own business, but
Yeah.
I don't have it right now.
Right. You don't need
But
it right now.
because I
No,
don't need it right now. I want
no,
it
no
because
way.
I'm so much more comfortable with it. I've been using it for a very long time, but I
Yeah.
don't have it right now. So,
Yes.
who is Salesforce best for?
Salesforce, I think, is best for companies that have a sophisticated level of requirements and have the budget available to support it. We typically only sell it to companies that have very specific requirements that Salesforce can support and are willing to spend the money for it. It can be very, very expensive.
Mm.
And by that, you're well into the six figures, easily into the seven figures with Salesforce for the companies that truly can leverage. It's a powerhouse. Okay. Think of it as a Ferrari of CRMs. When you're just getting started, you don't need a Ferrari. You need something that is much more economical, much right sized to your business. Okay. So we only sell Salesforce to, I don't want to say big businesses because we have some clients that are on the smaller side, but they had very specific requirements where Salesforce made sense for them. And they easily could spend $500,000 on an implementation of Salesforce easily.
Yeah. And the Ferrari example is the one that I've used before, where it's just like if you
Yep,
need a new car to drop your kids to school and then drive to work, you want something steady. You don't necessarily want a
exactly.
Ferrari that also costs you a lot to maintain. Just
Exactly. And
buy.
that's the thing that with Salesforce, that's my only complaint really with Salesforce is the overall operational expense. You pretty much need a full-time admin with
Yeah,
Salesforce and usually more than one because it's big, it's complicated, it's incredibly powerful. It can do so much, um, but know what you're getting into if you're going to go down that path.
that's fair. And then seeing as well on the enterprise level, what's great about Microsoft Dynamics?
Microsoft Dynamics is so we actually have a blog on our website, and I
Oh,
talk about this in the book about how should I select my CRM if I'm considering between Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. The reality now is Microsoft Dynamics 365 is functionally equivalent to Salesforce. And what I mean by that is they do things differently, but at the end of the day, you're going to get to the same place. Okay. You're going to be equally as happy with either tool. There are certain things about each tool that you may love and hate, but overall, all things being equal, they are functionally equivalent. Now, where Microsoft has the lead is if you're a Microsoft shop, meaning that you're using Office 365, if you're a heavy user of Teams, if you're using SharePoint, Microsoft Dynamics makes economically and operationally a much better choice because it's Microsoft. They've built all their technology from the ground up to just work together. So for example, for us to enable Teams integration or SharePoint integration in Dynamics 365, we literally just flip a switch and it's enabled. It's so easy, which to you, the customer means it's very inexpensive or relatively inexpensive compared to like Salesforce. It just takes a lot more work to enable the SharePoint integration, additional cost, additional licensing, more work to get the Teams integration, to get the Outlook integration. That's another big one is the Outlook integration. What Microsoft is doing with Copilot inside of Outlook,
they're going to have the edge
um,
there.
it's
Mm.
amazing, and it's only going to get better. And that's why I'll tell you a funny story. When Microsoft first came out with Teams, I was very into Slack. Right? They came out with Teams. I'm like, what are they doing? This thing sucks. This is not even close to Slack. I mean, who is the idiot at Microsoft who came up with this idea? They are late to the party. I'm never going to use this thing. Okay. Well, then COVID hit and it changed everything. Microsoft saw the opportunity and they seized it.
Yeah.
Teams, I sell Dynamics 365 by showing how well Dynamics integrates with Teams and what you can do with it organizationally. I don't really sell Dynamics. I'm showing them Teams, I'm demoing Teams. It's selling Dynamics. That's what scared the heck out of Salesforce so much where they went out and bought Slack. Okay. Salesforce has a totally different approach. They buy companies and then they try to
Yeah.
integrate it into their platform. That inherently creates problems because they're not speaking the same language. They're not truly integrated. Microsoft, and I wish I know the name of the person who came up with this strategy because I'd love to give them a big hug. They make my life and my teams a lot easier. Microsoft has built everything from the ground up. It's just easy.
It's just
And so
theirs.
we sell Microsoft into office based shops or Microsoft shops of all sizes. literally all sizes because it is much more affordable for smaller companies than Salesforce is. So we sell Dynamics to a much broader range of companies than we do Salesforce. And it's because you have one neck to choke, so to speak. They've built everything to work together. If you have a problem, you call Microsoft support and they'll
Amazing.
figure it out.
That
Versus
is,
Salesforce, it's
yeah,
harder.
you can't go on. Oh,
Then
that is
like
good.
HubSpot, I'm gonna jump ahead.
Yeah,
HubSpot,
yeah.
incredible tool for marketers. That's it. Do not use it as CRM unless you just
Agreed.
want a very simple, basic CRM.
Oh,
It is a platform for marketers. Do not buy the marketing that they're doing that, hey, we've got this incredible CRM. Their CRM sucks. And I know I'm getting a lot of people, it does not suck. It's great. Think back to my definition of CRM. It's not the CRM of old where I can just manage a pipeline. I'm looking for something that I can extend through the enterprise. That's not HubSpot. Okay.
that's fair.
Zoho is very popular. It's very easy and affordable to get into.
Mm.
Um, but to me, its technology is very antiquated. It's like at least 10 years behind Salesforce and
It feels
Microsoft.
like that.
NetSuite is one of the worst I've seen. Um, they and I've never personally used NetSuite CRM, but I've talked to people that have come to us saying, we want you to migrate us off of NetSuite. And I talked to their sales team, what do you hate about it? And they're like, Chris, it does absolutely nothing to help me in my job.
And
It's
Oracle's
just,
got two, right? I'm just looking, they've got Oracle
well,
and
they bought,
NetSuite by
Oracle
Oracle.
bought NetSuite. So it's now,
Is it the
and what
same
Oracle
thing?
does, they buy companies and they just turn them into cash cows.
Oh, okay.
They don't really invest
Right.
in the technology to keep up with the others. NetSuite back in the day was incredible because they came out around the same time as Salesforce, right?
Mm.
But they just didn't invest in technology like Salesforce has and like Microsoft has.
Okay.
It's horrible. And I'm saying this based on not my personal experience. I'm parroting what I've been told by people who use it every day.
Okay. All right. All
Um,
right. Let's
yeah.
keep going. Do you know?
And I'll throw just a wide net. Any
Yeah, yeah,
CRM
please.
that's part of an ERP package, forget it. Do not use it.
Ah,
Go get another CRMs. And I include that in Microsoft's ERP platforms. Business Central has a CRM component. It's a joke. Do not use it. Get the actual CRM from Microsoft. And NetSuite's in that category. SAP's in that category. Um, there's benefits to having CRM be part of your ERP. The reality is they've never really achieved those benefits, in my opinion. They're focused on table stakes, like very basic CRM functionality. I know so many, they're just again, everyone I know that's using that portion of CRM, the sales team, they all hate it. They don't embrace it. They don't view it as a tool that helps them be better in their jobs.
I kind of feel like if you even know what ERP is, then you need a proper CRM. You can't be
You
having
do need a proper
a
CRM to integrate with it. And they're all
side
like
ERP brand.
Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics are so easy to integrate with your ERPs. And a lot of them, they have pre-built, like ready to go. You can go out and get pre-built integrations to go to larger ERPs. So
Yeah,
it's a
but
non-issue. That
yeah,
should not be a reason for not using either Microsoft Dynamics or Salesforce.
it's just yeah. If you're at that size, at that level of maturity where you want an enterprise resource planning
Yeah.
system, then just what do you think
Yep.
about Monday.com?
I think Monday.com is really good at marketing. They spend a lot of money on advertising. They're very good at marketing. Um, and I'll leave it at that.
It to me, I haven't used it for very long. I know my way around, but it feels like pretty Excel.
Exactly. I love that. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna totally
Go
steal that.
ahead,
To
because
me,
I'm
they've
looking.
got like
I'm
this
trying to
really
find
pretty
the
UI, but I'm like,
yeah,
how's this helping me?
yeah,
How is it helping me? I'm still doing a whole bunch of manual stuff.
exactly.
Um,
I've already got Excel.
yeah. To me, yeah, I've already got Excel. Like if you're considering Monday, stay in Excel. Like hey, if you want to try to get out of Excel, and you're looking at Monday, just stay in Excel. Save the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go through some other ones real quick. I did not know Adobe Experience Cloud CRM tools. I didn't know that was a thing.
Again, I would put that in, they have a great marketing platform, you know,
Okay.
but use something else for your CRM. They have an incredible, phenomenal marketing platform. It's absolutely,
All right.
um, I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best one out there. Um, there's some people that might argue with me on that, but it truly, only the largest organizations like the Fortune 500, that's what they're using, are going to be platforms like that. Um, and I guarantee you they're not using Adobe CRM. They're using either Salesforce or Microsoft.
That's fair. And
Yep.
then for open source or highly customizable CRMs,
Um,
hmm,
no, unless you want to spend your days, weekends, evenings as a developer trying to figure out how to make this work for your business, forget it.
yeah,
Um,
I haven't even
there are
looked into
some
that.
business owners that love that stuff. God bless you. Have fun. Okay.
Yeah.
But remember what you're in business for. You're not in business to be a CRM developer. You're in business to sell whatever product or service you're delivering to your customers. You're there to deliver value to customers. That I just highly I go with one of the others. Go with Monday for God's sake instead of
Rather
that.
than
You know,
that. Yeah, fair enough.
no, I really am not a big fan of those because again, I think they're just conning people into thinking that hey, this is a viable solution for my business. I
Mm,
know so many companies that went that route and they're stuck. They can't get out of it because they've spent so much time and money trying to get this thing work for them. Emotionally, they can't let go.
sunk cost.
And yeah, and they are just stuck.
Yeah. Okay, last two then. Um, Copper CRM built for Google Workspace users. Are you familiar?
Again, no, I'm not, but it's like right out of the gate, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be very basic. It's gonna be like if you're a very, very small business, that's the only, like I'm talking, like we have 5 people in our business type
Mm.
small, 1 to 5 people, those types of solutions, take a look at them. If you think it'll work for you with minimal effort, meaning you don't have to go in and do a bunch of configuration, you can just start using it from day one, by all means, sign up with it. But if you have to do a bunch of configuration work or figure out how do I get this to work for my business, run the other way.
Yeah, you're better off getting a one that knows what it's doing and knows what it's supposed to be for. And
Exactly.
then
And I see what was the name of the one that you use?
it's FEA Create, which is powered by Go High Level.
Right. What I love about that tool is they're not just thinking about the sales side, but they're also thinking about the marketing side. It's got a marketing solution baked into it.
Mm.
As a small business owner, if I'm getting started, that's what I want. HubSpot used to be that, but HubSpot's tried to go up market, so it's become very expensive. That's another thing I don't like about HubSpot is it truly isn't affordable for small businesses, in my opinion. And again,
But it's
I've
still
I've
marketed
talked
towards
to
them.
companies that have started on HubSpot and are looking to get off of it because, like Chris, this is just not worth the money I'm spending on it. There are
Yeah.
much more affordable solutions out there that will do the exact same thing. The other thing that I really have a problem with HubSpot is it is incredibly difficult to migrate off of HubSpot. They
Oh, is
were
it like an
very
Apple
smart in
situation?
turn. What's that?
Is it like an Apple situation where everything has to
Yes.
be, wow, I didn't know
So
that.
what they do, their hook is they get you to build your website in their platform. Think about that.
You
Um,
have to.
yeah. If so, I've got my HubSpot, I've got my website completely built within, it's going to be really hard and expensive for me to leave.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
and
that's really tough.
yeah, and
Because
that's when I'm evaluating technology solutions, that's one of our criteria is what happens in 3 to 5 years from now. You realize I've outgrown my CRM. You won't do that with Salesforce. You won't do that with Microsoft, but a lot of these other ones we talked about, I hope your business grows to the point where you need a new system. Think about your migration path when you get there. You
yeah,
want to be able, because your data is your data. How hard is it going to be for me to export my data out of my current CRM? Do they even have an API? that allows me to connect to it to export my data. A lot of these smaller ones that we've talked about don't have APIs.
Mm.
You have to use tools. God, what's that one tool out there that you can use for integrations? I forget what it's called that
Zapier?
connects to everything. What's that?
Zapier or Zapier?
Zapier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're limited to Zapier, that's a
Yeah.
red flag to me.
Yeah.
If Zapier is the only way you can connect to your whatever CRM you're connecting to, it should have its own API that you can connect to. That tells me this is a company that truly has invested in technology. They've built a platform that can scale at some level. If the only way you can connect to it is Zapier, that's a red flag in my book. Now, if you're small business, I'm not saying don't do it. Just be
Mm.
aware of it because at some point, when you get big enough and it's time to migrate to something else, it could be a problem for you.
Yeah, it might not grow with you. So as long as you're
Exactly.
understanding that in 3 to 5 years' time, you might have to spend a little bit of money just
Yes.
sorting stuff out, then okay.
Yep.
Because yeah, some of these businesses might not exist. And like with Go High Level, and I'm not affiliated with them, I'm just using them.
Yep.
Um, my website is separate at the moment, and then I've got some funnel pages inside of it. I am going to
Yes.
migrate everything over because
I
it's
highly
cheaper.
recommend that, start that from day one.
Yeah.
HubSpot, you really can't, but
Yeah, you need a
um,
choice. You
I
need a
recommend
choice.
keeping your website out of whatever CRM you're using and just connect it. So
Yeah.
that way, that's not in it because replacing your website is very expensive. And to me, an unnecessary expense just because I want to get to a new CRM.
Yeah, yeah. Because like I say, I'm thinking of migrating it over because it's cheaper, but then I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit more now because of risk.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
It's,
see.
it's all trade-offs.
Exactly.
You just have to look at it. And if it feels right to you, do it.
Yeah.
But just do the due diligence, do the analysis, and make sure it feels right to you.
Thank you. And very last one then, and then we'll wrap up. Industry specific CRMs. Now, usually I would say, I think I used to say, no, what's the point? But I think I understand the need for them more now because where
Yes,
you've got some industries, like I've been talking to a lot of private schools recently, and
yes,
many of them, they're only just now being introduced to CRMs. Like they didn't know they
yes,
existed at all. So they just had a
yep,
phone book before, essentially. And if you do have a well-working industry-specific CRM, then it's going to use terminology that will
yes,
really help your people to get to know it really quickly. And so therefore the fear of tech, that learning curve is going to
yes,
be much more smoother. So
yes,
I think I feel better about it now, but
yes.
again, depending on the marketing, don't spend a ton of money.
I don't like to compete against industry specific CRMs for just what you said.
Mm,
They understand the industry, they're already aligned to the industry. So for me to compete with them, I usually have to come in and build a custom solution for that customer that's going to be way more expensive than if they just went with the industry specific CRM.
yeah.
Um, Now, you truly have to. It's kind of funny. A lot of companies we come into, like, well, I want someone who understands my industry because we're really special. In reality, you're not as special as you think you are. You're still selling things, and you have a lot of the same problems and issues as every other industry we've dealt with. But there truly are some industries that that have very specific needs.
Mm,
And an industry solution, something that's purposely built for them, is usually much more economical than trying to build and much lower risk. That's the really important thing. It's much lower risk than trying to build a custom solution.
mm,
When I have company, I've had clients where like, look, I just don't recommend you hiring us to build a custom solution because the risk to your business is going to be much higher because it's going to take us 6 months to a year to get where the other solution already is. Now, it might only be 80% of what you need. That's fantastic. That's a win. Don't worry about it trying to be 100. I need a 100% match. You'll never
mm.
find one. Focus on if I can get 80% of my core requirements need, that's a win. Okay. And run with it. Because over time, you'll figure out how to maximize and minimize that or maximize the 80% and minimize the 20% that you don't have. it'll work just fine.
And or there's another system out there that you can just connect to it that will fill
Oh,
in that
exactly.
20.
You can find ways to fill those gaps, not spreadsheets, but other
No.
ways you can fill those gaps to fill in that 20% maybe that system doesn't provide. Um, and you'll be in a much better place than having a totally custom solution.
Yeah. And as well, if it's custom built, then what's the maintenance look like on that? Because
Oh,
when you're
no,
buying
yeah,
a standard
exactly.
solution, that just gets updated across
Exactly.
the board. You
Oh,
don't have
no,
to
it's
then go back in
super,
and pay.
super I mean, you're forever beholden to having a developer on staff or on
Exactly.
call. And here's this is a real story. We just took over a new rescue for a client a couple months ago. They had an integration built by a partner. They didn't know this, but the partner hired someone in Brazil to build the integration.
Oh,
Integration stopped working. They could not find this person,
oh,
okay, to support it and maintain it. So this company was without a core critical integration for over 2 months.
oh my God.
Um, that's the risk you're exposing yourself to when you start trying to build something totally custom. Is that what happens to the one person who built it and knows how it works if they decide, I'm going on vacation or I don't like this job anymore? It's all about managing risk. I talk about that in the book too, CRM Shouldn't Suck. Um, there's a lot to consider when you're picking your technology.
I completely get that. Thank you so much. Where can people find your book?
You can find it on Amazon.com. Um, and so please check that out. Or starting April 1st, you can go to the website crmshouldn'tsuck.com and you can order a book for free. I want to help as many people as possible unsuck their CRMs. Okay.
Mm.
Now, I will qualify this. If you're in Europe, um, I'm going to email you a PDF of the book instead of a hard copy. So I hope that's okay. But you will still get it for free because I want to help people. And CRM can be very complex, but we want this book to be your guide, your roadmap to making your CRM better.
Thank you so much. And I can confirm I do live in Europe and I have a PDF copy of the book. So thank you very much.
You bet. You bet.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. I've enjoyed this, and as I think you can tell, having listened all the way through, we could just keep going.
Oh,
So
yes.
we're
That's
gonna
the
put a
danger of
pin.
talking to me, Charlene, is I
Oh,
can
well, it's a
just keep going.
danger
I've been
talking.
doing this for almost 2 decades, and I have some pretty strong opinions I've developed. And so I'm also willing to talk to anybody that's struggling with their CRM. Um, and I call it experience shares, where I'm like, I'm not going to give you advice because if I give you advice and it goes bad, you're going to be mad at me. But if I share experiences we've had with other clients, then you have to take ownership on that, pick out what you think will help you, and then make it your own. Um, and I think it's a much better way. But I just want to help people. So if you're struggling with your CRM, please reach out. I'm sure we can help you.
That is fantastic. And I'm going to put all of your contact details inside of the show notes as well. We can both be found on LinkedIn. Um, and so please do get in touch. And quite frankly, I feel like there's even room on another day for us to do another podcast where you
Oh,
can
I
give us
think we should.
experience shares. I think we can keep going. But for
Thank you,
today,
Charlene.
we're going to put a pin there. Thank you so much for listening and watching. There's contact details in the show notes. Looking forward to speaking with you all again soon. Take care.